Welcome back to AI News. I'm Jason Avatar with the latest AI news from around the world. Tonight, a major chipmaker pushes deeper into open AI models. A new foundation attempts to standardize the agent era. Governments tighten rules around synthetic media, and the music industry accelerates toward licensed AI creation. Let's get into it. Nvidia pushes open models with Nemotron 3. Nvidia is expanding beyond chips and into the model layer, releasing a new family of open models called Nemotron 3, positioned for agentic workloads and multi-step tasks. What matters here is not only performance but strategy. Nvidia is signaling that open models can be a competitive moat, models you can inspect, adapt, and deploy, anchored to Nvidia's broader developer ecosystem. If this direction holds, we could see a sharper split in the market, closed frontier systems for tightly controlled enterprise use, and open model stacks optimized for custom agents in research labs, startups, and public sector deployments. In short, Nvidia is trying to be the platform layer for the agent era, not just the hardware layer. A new Agentic AI Foundation for standards. A major standard story now. The Linux Foundation has announced the Agentic AI Foundation, aiming to provide a vendor-neutral home for protocols and conventions used by AI agents. In practice, this is about interoperability. Agent systems are only as useful as the tools they can reliably call and the rules they follow across environments. A neutral foundation can reduce fragmentation, fewer incompatible walled gardens, more shared infrastructure. This is not purely technical governance either. It also shapes who gets to set norms around safety, auditability, and responsible integration when agents act across data and services. If you want a simple way to read this, the industry is trying to build the HTTP of agents before the ecosystem splinters. South Korea, labels for AI-generated ads. South Korea is moving to require clear labeling for advertisements made with AI, responding to a rise in deceptive promotions using synthetic or manipulated media. This sits at the intersection of consumer protection and platform governance. The immediate target is misleading advertising, but the wider implication is that jurisdictions are increasingly treating synthetic media as a regulated communications problem, not just a tech novelty. Expect ripple effects. Ad tech vendors will need better provenance workflows, platforms will face stronger enforcement expectations, and creators will have to adapt to visible disclosure norms. The direction of travel is clear. Disclose when AI was used is becoming a standard compliance requirement, not an optional best practice. Meta and the AI-first workplace. Inside Meta, reporting suggests a stronger push toward an AI-first workplace, including internal assistant tooling used for everyday knowledge work, including drafting and summarization. For workplaces, this normalizes a new organizational reality. AI as an embedded layer in routine HR and managerial processes, not just a productivity add-on. That raises questions about reliability, workplace consent, data boundaries, and what counts as appropriate delegation in evaluative writing. The broader point, the enterprise AI transition, is no longer about one flashy chatbot demo. It's about quiet integration into governance and organizational memory. This is where AI becomes infrastructural, woven into how institutions document and evaluate themselves. Meta, Avocado, and the shift toward paid, closed frontier models. A second Meta thread. Reports indicate Meta is developing a frontier model codenamed Avocado, and that it may represent a move toward more restricted access and monetization compared to earlier open releases. That would be a strategic pivot. Open releases help drive adoption and research diffusion, but they also enable rivals to learn faster. A paid or closed approach prioritizes capture of value, platform leverage, and controlled deployment. If this shift continues across major labs, we may see open by default replaced by open selectively, with access shaped by market power, compliance needs, and geopolitical risk. Microsoft Copilot, more agents, more workflow AI. Microsoft's Copilot announcements continue to push toward agentic workflows inside everyday workplace software, emphasizing systems that can execute multi-step tasks across documents, calendars, messaging, and internal knowledge bases. The practical consequence is a shift from AI suggests text to AI coordinates work. That intensifies two pressures: governance, because agent actions can have real organizational consequences, and evaluation, because success is no longer a single answer, but a chain of decisions. This is the enterprise bet. Your assistant is not just writing, it's orchestrating. Security Copilot expands and automates defense work. Microsoft is also expanding Security Copilot and related security agents, framing AI as a force multiplier for triage, investigation, and response. For defenders, the attraction is obvious: speed, summarization, correlation of signals, and automated playbooks. The risk is equally obvious: automation that is persuasive but wrong can amplify incidents at machine speed, and security environments are high-stakes, adversarial, and noisy. The key question for 2026 is not can AI help security teams, but how do we bound automation so it stays accountable and reversible? XAI releases Grok 4.1 and developer tooling. XAI has released Grok 4.1 and a faster variant, alongside tools intended to support agent development. This is part of a broader competitive pattern. Major AI companies are converging on the same product shape: a foundation model plus tool interfaces plus workflows for "do things for me" automation. The differentiator becomes ecosystem, latency, cost, and trust. In other words, models are competing, but toolchains are increasingly where lock-in happens. El Salvador brings Grok into schools. El Salvador has announced a partnership to bring Grok into parts of public education. Education is a particularly sensitive deployment domain. It touches minors, assessment, and unequal access. The upside is support for tutoring and exploration. The downside is over-reliance, uneven accuracy, and the subtle shaping of curricula by proprietary systems. If you zoom out, this is another sign that AI is becoming a state-level infrastructure choice, not only a consumer app choice. Warner Music licensed AI music deals with Suno and Udio. In the creative industries, Warner Music has struck licensing and settlement deals with Suno and Udio, setting up licensed AI music systems and new platforms scheduled for 2026. This is a key institutional pivot, from litigation first to licensing first. The industry is attempting to build a legal framework where AI-generated music becomes normalized, but under opt-in rules, compensation mechanisms, and platform controls. Two big questions follow. First, whether licensing can meaningfully protect creators while still enabling broad generative use. Second, whether licensed AI becomes a premium layer while unlicensed generation persists elsewhere. This could be the template for other sectors: move fast from lawsuits to licensing once the market size becomes undeniable. Those are tonight's stories. The pattern is consistent. Agents are becoming the default product direction. Standards are forming to reduce fragmentation, and regulation and licensing are catching up where AI is already affecting trust, labor, and public life. Thanks for watching AI News. Good night.